Welcome to Unpack Your Life. I'm Jane Bond, your host and identity strategist. This is the show where we go past the surface, past the performance, and into the real work. Have you ever looked at your life and thought, how did I get here? Not because your life fell apart, but because somewhere along the way, you disappeared. I know that feeling oh too well. I spent years building a life that looked successful while quietly losing the person I was underneath it. Until one day, I realized I had a choice. Keep protecting the life I had built or burn down the identity that was keeping me trapped. I chose the fire. That's why I created Unpack Your Life. This isn't a podcast about fixing your life. It's about uncovering the person who's been there all along. I'm Jane Bond, and let's unpack your life. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Unpack Your Life. Today's conversation is a masterclass in exactly that. My guest today is Yvette Craddock, an interior designer, and her firm, Yvette Craddock Designs, solve business challenges through design and have done so for over $120 million in real estate. That's a number we can reckon with. Her namesake and multidisciplinary creative studio provides lifestyle and business solutions through interior design and immersive experiences. ICD creates custom spaces for private residence, investor properties, vacation homes, boutique and hospitality, multifamily properties. Her firm is based on a framework of detailed business systems that provide consistent results and deadlines, adherence, and financially efficient budgets, allocations, which allow for originality, innovation, and creativity. Her company works with clients who desire forward-thinking plans and returns on their investments. Yvette's background includes being a former founder of a multi-award-winning marketing agency, doing marketing and sales for a luxury Italian furniture brand, and she has been designated to the Fine Art Board of Directors. Yvette, welcome to Unpack Your Life.
Thank you, Jane. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Yvette and I go back a while. Yvette, if I missed out anything, please tell our audience a little more about yourself.
No, you've hit it on the head. I have a very interesting background for being in my business, from Fortune 5 international business in Los Angeles to being recruited into the luxury furniture industry by the designer himself and learning that world from all sides and gaining a finer appreciation for handmade furniture, to ended up working in television and founding my own marketing agency and having major success with taking over 80 brands to market and designing campaigns for about 10% of the top 50 global brands. It's been an exciting ride. And then through that work, I came back to interiors. I'm 50-50. So it's always been important for me to have a career that allowed me to use my intellectual side as well as my creative side.
I love it. I love it. I used to be a former interior designer, so Yvette and I have a lot in common, and we've talked about this many times. And I'll be honest with you, I loved interior design. And looking at your work online, it's absolutely beautiful. I can see why you have, rise so far in this industry. And that's a great way to segue into my question to you. You describe yourself as moving from hardline advertising founder into a more spiritually focused design founder. What did that transition teach you about the difference between success and alignment?
Well, that's really deep. It was an incredibly instrumental and revolutionary change in my life to return to a little bit of my core
I can
and
see
how
that.
it's important to maintain a pulse on who you are
Mhm.
and what you're doing, because we have two separate identities sometimes. We're not our work all the time, and making sure they align, and then being comfortable with having that conversation with yourself first that something's off. And for me, that's where everything came to a head. I was sitting in my office. I was working late as usual because, as a founder of a company, you're working 60, 70 hours.
Woo!
And I looked
We love
around and the movie. I literally, this is what happened. I had my music on in the background. And I had what some people, we laugh, we call it an ego wall, all my press, all my awards around me. And I'm like, and so what? And so what? What's next? And who's around me? Who's working for me? Are they aligned? That was a really quick and easy no. Are my clients aligned? Do we hold the same value systems? Do we have mutual respect for each other? And ultimately, where am I going? Am I in the right place? Physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, all the entire board, chessboard. And then saying yes here, 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 but no here. And the no here was big because it had everything to do with my soul, my value system, where I became surrounded by people who had ulterior motives. They weren't Team Yvette. There was a lot of jealousy, a lot of internal competition, and I had to come to terms with that because I'm not that type of person. As you know me, I'm very loving, I'm very straightforward,
Absolutely.
and I had to just have a deep conversation with me and say, "This isn't working. What are we going to do about it?"
It sounds like you had to kind of step outside of yourself and look at yourself through a different lens to even identify who you were at that point.
And it also included walking in the dark. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going. There's a new path. I have to let it unfold. And I took a trip to Maui. It was a Yvette's getting off the world. I'm going to Maui for a week. I had all my, you know, skydiving, everything else I had lined up,
Oh, and
mountain biking. None of that happened. The second day I was in the ER. My
wow, what
body
happened?
told me, you've got to do something. You cannot keep kicking the can down the road. Let's get focused. Let's become even more intentional. Change is coming. You must make changes in your life. And that was a catapult to me going through a very spiritual transformation to come out the other side with, here's what I want to do and contribute to the world and maintain my soul and my value system and provide value to other people.
Wow. That's really heavy because I can definitely relate to that. It resonates so well with me. And that getting sick, that breakdown before the breakthrough, I definitely get that. That happened to me. I found myself sick also, Yvette. I found myself having pains that I didn't understand. And I couldn't understand it because I was, tip top shape at the time. And
Exactly.
that breakdown, when it comes through, it definitely allows you to look at things through a different lens. And it tells you it's time for a change. Something's not right here. You come to a point where you know that you have to make a change in your life. And you saying coming through the darkest of dark, that's where your transformation was starting to happen. Because most of the time when you go through that dark of the darkness, that's coming through the tomb, and the tomb is the darkest place, and peeling back everything that you don't need to come and rebirth yourself through the womb. That's the rebirth, and that is the transition. That is the transformation. That's the messy middle, But once you come out and you leave everything that you don't need to take with you, there's a cleansing there.
There
What was
is.
the moment when you realized that identity that helped you succeed was no longer the identity that could take you where you wanted to go?
Well, I think there were a few moments, and the cues for me were who was around me and where was I placing myself. I have been very fortunate in my life to have life experiences people will never, ever have or gain access to. And during one of those VIP moments, I just looked around the room. I knew the majority of people in the room, and I said to myself, what am I doing here? What are we accomplishing?
Oh.
Have you been there? I think you've been there. You
Well,
know
I've
exactly.
been
You
there a
know,
few times. I just didn't recognize myself at the time I was there, or I didn't recognize it was time to get out. But
it's like an out of body experience.
yeah, it's very icky, I call it.
It's uncomfortable, but then for me, it was comfortable because it wasn't about anyone else. Beautiful people, beautiful environment. That wasn't it. It was just there was something else for me, and I had to identify my next point of evolution.
You didn't have a purpose at that time in reference to where you wanted to go.
I had a purpose, but I'd outgrown it. There
Okay.
needed to be something deeper.
Okay.
I needed to elevate myself.
Well, that's where your internal empires come. When those interior empires start speaking to you, you have to answer to that because
Yeah.
they will stop you in your tracks. It's like you said, it was spiritual, and that's one of those empires that will get louder than anything else, because if your spirit is not settled, everything else is shaken. Of course, your health, your heart, you have to have the other sets, the other four sets. Everyone talks about mindset, but they forget about, the heart set, the health set, and then the soul set, which is our spirit.
Mhm.
We just keep going. It's all about performance for us because we're not sure. We've been told that success looks like this. So we just keep climbing until all of a sudden you have a fall. And that fall is an interior fall.
Yes,
It doesn't show up in the exterior just yet. It's the interior, So seeing everything through this clouded lens and saying, everybody else was all right, but I wasn't all right. And that's when it starts happening to you. That's when the breakdown starts to come into play.
absolutely.
You mentioned that work can sometimes be a performance disguised as a responsibility. What do you think work has allowed you to avoid feeling or confronting?
That's deep, Jane.
These are the questions I have had to ask myself
Yes.
to go through a transformation of understanding who I am.
And work, I'm definitely been a workaholic throughout my life. I'm type A, high achiever, the profile. And I
Absolutely.
think for me, if like I have learned recently to and what I mean by that is because I'm very tenacious and I'm persistent, like, oh, okay, that didn't work. Let me learn something else and go that direction. Okay, let me keep improving and pivoting and not to an extreme, but I look at, okay, this is a challenge and there's something for me to learn. Let me identify that and then let me work on myself to do better, to evolve, to grow.
Yeah, we're like the
And
Energizer bunnies. We keep going.
right, right, right. So I've learned that not everything needs or deserves your time and attention. Sometimes you just need to stop. Just stop. And it's okay. It's not working. The timing is off. The energy is off. Whatever it is, keep it moving another direction. So instead of working, let's say 20 hours on a project that really could be 10, do the 10.
Absolutely.
You fulfilled your agreement. You fulfilled the work. Stop beating yourself up and beating your head up against a brick wall. That's my lesson. Like, just stop. It's okay.
As entrepreneurs and founders, we don't know how to stop until we get to the point where, everyone's talking in the buzzword burnout or exhaustion. And we do get exhausted, but we don't know how to stop because we saw or we've been told what success is supposed to look and feel like. We don't stop. We're that energizer bunny. We just keep going, keep finding the next, mountain or hill to climb until we think we're there. And then when you get there and you realize, wow, I'm still not satisfied, but everyone's saying I'm successful. What's happening here? And why does this happen to people like us high achievers?
It's an insatiable appetite that I think is innate. And then you have the external component of the voices, the noise. This is what this looks like. Someone else's definition of XYZ. And then,
Abs-
oh, okay, I keep seeing this. It's human nature. Oh, I keep seeing that this is a definition. Let me go there. And thankfully, I have marched to the beat of my own drum my entire life, ever since I was a kid. And as an
Amen.
adult, you too. And as an adult, it's even more important for me. It's like, okay, pay attention. You read the room, but also read you. And if you are not in the right room or you're in the wrong room or there's a misalignment, that's okay. You know what you could do? You can sashay out that door, find another
Absolutely.
room.
With
No
your
harm, no
secret
foul.
chills.
Just like peek through the curtain. Okay. And that's okay. But I think people can easily get caught up. And if you haven't achieved a certain level of quote unquote perceived success,
Mm,
then I think it's just, again, this insatiable appetite. For me, is like, okay, I've done this and this and this. I've done a lot in my life and there's still more to do, but it's not my driving force.
I know.
After some point, it's like, do I really need to submit for that award to validate who I am and my talent? I'm really not interested. Thank you, but no, thank you. Do I need to sit on another board to validate who I am, my talent?
That's
No,
what
I
we
really don't. And I have received some feedback, negative feedback, like, well, why aren't you doing this? I don't want to. You
That's
know,
when we say no means no.
This is my life. These are my choices. And if these, whatever these are, these categories, these badges are your baseline for
Mhm.
validating who I am, I'm not sure that we're needing to continue this conversation.
But let me interject something here because for many, high achievers like us and so many other women and men that I know, responsibility becomes a badge of honor. We're
Yes,
always checking off those boxes. If we're
correct.
not checking the boxes saying, okay, I did this, I did that, like I'm always into list, which drives me crazy. Now I don't do the list anymore. I just check off what I know I have to do as a personal responsibility. But they become badges of honor. When did responsibility become less about purpose and more about survival for you?
Boy, well, I think recently with some major life adjustments
Okay.
that to get through the day, these are my responsibilities versus this is my purpose.
Okay. Who's the woman behind the founder?
Who am I? I am a very driven, curious, adventurous person who loves to meet new people. I love to engage with new cultures. I have friends from all over the world, which I find exciting. I am fearless when it comes to trying new things, going to places by myself, meeting new people, starting conversations. That's who I am. And I'm very grounded in traditional value system that was part of my upbringing. And that is, do unto others as they do unto you. Be honest, lead with love, be forgiving. That's who I am.
Boundaries.
Pardon?
What about the boundaries? Because, boundaries allows us to love people simultaneously and love
Mm,
ourselves too.
yes.
I mean, I learned that from someone that I really respect her work, Apprentice Hemphill. And when I read that, I was like, wow, that is so real because we need boundaries. We have to redirect people sometimes on how to
Hmm.
treat us and
Yes,
make
that is
them
correct.
respect us in a certain manner. So, what do boundaries have to create to protect the woman you're becoming? Because you have definitely been rebuilding.
Yes, so I'm very clear on, for instance, my office hours. Clients receive written communication. We have a discussion. My hours are, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. If we need to set an appointment to address your needs outside of those hours, let's do this. But that was been a big one because people think that because they're looking at their chandelier on Saturday at 4 that gives them license to call me. And it's like, well, I have a life too. And one client, I had to sit down and have a serious 30-minute conversation with her that, do you have a doctor? Do you have, do you go to the grocery store? Everyone has business hours.
Absolutely.
I am
Absolutely.
no different.
Absolutely. I love that you said you had to teach people how to be on your frequency, because you were
Yes.
sacrificing your own frequency just to belong. When I read that, I was like, wow, she really is becoming because it takes, some gravitas to put people where they belong, especially clients, because they can really take advantage of you because they feel as though I'm paying you, I own you for now, and they will cross those boundaries. And that's why I said you have to redirect people on how to treat you because if you don't, they will walk all over you.
Yes.
And that also has to do with identity, how secure you are with yourself and who you are. I just read an article on Robert Downing Jr. and I saw something and I commented on it because I definitely understand it. And it's definitely about boundaries. And this one reporter started asking him about, when he was in his addiction and clearly looking at man on the interview. He looked amazing. He looked clear. He looked like he understood who he was or who he is. He is the Iron Man. Okay. So I
Yeah,
was looking at him going, wait a minute, you're talking to the damn Iron Man. Are you seriously asking him about his past and his, addiction? And the first thing he said was, where are we going with this? And I thought, okay,
absolutely.
dude, that is your outlet. That's where he's telling you to respect his boundaries. And when you kept pushing, he got up and left. I was like, bravo,
I am
bravo,
with you.
because you know who you are and you made him respect you and you got up and walked away because when that happens to someone, you can either redirect them and give them the opportunity to redirect themselves as far as that interview is going on.
Mhm.
And he didn't take that opportunity. So
Mm,
Robert got up and left.
good for him. I would have
And
done the
that
same
was
thing.
like, oh my God, you know what? He knows who he is. He doesn't have to allow you into his life in that manner.
Right.
That he was pushing. He was definitely pushing. And he act like, a, a deer in headlights when it happened.
He was oblivious because it was all about him and not respecting the man sitting across from him.
Exactly. Exactly. When you know who you are, you don't have to invite that into your life. You don't have to take that from anyone. You
No, I shut that down.
redirect them, give them that
Yes,
opportunity, or you just let it go. And I was like, that's a man who understands his identity. And I loved it.
correct.
I loved it.
I've had many tests recently, and there's a graceful way of shutting that down. And I don't play. I have very clear boundaries and very clear value systems, and anything outside of those is not worth
It's
any
not up
further
for
discussion or
negotiation.
attention.
It's just not up for negotiation when that
No,
happens. You don't
nope.
have to negotiate who you are with anyone, as long as you know. And
That's
that's where you
key.
find your power. You find your power and you get up and leave. And of course, he's, the Iron Man. Shit
I
bouncing off
have been
him, you know?
behind him in line at the Starbucks in LA on
I love
Sunset.
him.
He is a gorgeous man, very kind man. That's so funny. I'm like, "Oh, yeah."
Yeah, definitely. He knows who he is, and it's not this facade.
No.
He's been through hell and back, and he doesn't have to negotiate his identity with anyone. And that's what I loved about him. You either respect me or I'm out here.
Right. A lot of
So
people don't have the courage to do that.
no, they don't. And like courage, that comes in different forms. You have to have self-courage also. You have to have self-belief and all of that. It all goes together.
It does.
Being you and being someone that knows who they are. A lot comes along with that. That's a long journey, because people can spend their whole life trying to figure that part out. And
And
I have to say, I'm proud. It took me almost 6 decades, but I'm proud that, I caught it before I regretted it and then
mm,
realized I'm never going to be who I want to be. And I am being who I want to be at. This is my life right here, finding out how other people like me go about unpacking their lives, because it's very important that we do that. And I don't mean burn the house down all at once. I mean unpack frequently so you can peel back the layers to figure out who you are and then be happy with what you're or who you're going to become, because that's the real person that we want to meet. That's the real person that will do everything in their power to just be, which I love. I love.
and and I agree with you, and just being is really difficult.
Yes.
And to have the patience for the silence, those tunnels, that sometimes you can call it the dark night of the soul, those
Yes.
moments where I have no idea where this path is leading me. I can't see the forest through the trees, and just be comfortable and confident and courageous to sit in that. And I think that's where a lot of people, it's very scary
It is very scary.
because everything is unknown, and I think a lot of people might give up on themselves at that point because it's hard. It's hard work.
That's the
It's
uncertainty.
humbling. It'll break you all the way down.
But would you wanna know everything that was going to happen? I love uncertainty. I kinda grovel in it. It's an exciting time in your life when, you're not sure what's gonna happen, and a lot of people get afraid because, financial reasons, they have kids. Not everybody can get up and, move the way they want to because there are other circumstances in their lives. But, I always say you're never a victim of your circumstances,
We all have choices.
statistics show that people that had it harder than so many of us come out smelling like roses. It just depends on how you handle it. It's like failure. Failure and success walk side by side at all times. The same people you see going up, you see coming down.
Yes.
Just pray that some of those people you see coming down still respect you. Struggle and strength, same thing, side by
Mm.
side. This is life. It's called life. Life is something that you have to take on. You just can't push it to the side. It's a journey that we all have to take. And it depends on us how we want to, travel down those roads.
An active participant. But
Absolutely.
design your life like you design your business, or design your home, or
Exactly. You
we
have
have
to
the
design our
ability to
life.
do that.
That's right. You have to either design your life by living the way you want to live or let it be by default. I choose to design my own life. That's what
Me
I've chosen,
too.
you know. And this brings me to my next question with you because we both have kind of walked side by side with this in our own way. And because I definitely went through it with really understanding what that heart set will do when you go through loss. And I know you recently went through loss. You mentioned, a complete life implosion of loss and grief.
Yes.
What did that season take from you? And what did it give back to you? Because I just did a post about loss and everyone talks about, losing a loved one, losing, a home, losing a marriage. And they never talk about what they gained from that. Life is evolutionary, right?
Right.
So when you go through that, did it give back to you? Because as we just talked about, strength and struggle goes side by side.
Yes. So I gained the ability to sit in silence again and really evaluate what my next steps are. This new chapter, what does that look like? Where will I be? Where do I want to go? How do I want this to function? So in a very unexpected way, it's freedom, freedom that I didn't really choose, but nonetheless it is freedom.
I can appreciate that.
And from here, now we design. We have a new design plan,
Okay. And that's with life.
and that's with life.
Absolutely. Well said.
Thank you.
Well
It's
said.
difficult. The words are tender
Yeah.
and they're intentional because it is very layered. And as you said, it's no disrespect to situations and circumstances, but I was told you will go and you thrive. That's my calling card. You go and you thrive. You do it at a level you've never done it before. You got this, girl. Let's make that happen.
And that self-talk is very important too. You have to be the bearer of the bad news to the heart and the soul also. And then you have to give yourself that self-talk because, that the old familiar doubts will come. God.
They race back, don't they?
Oh, and the familiarity is the scary part because it's so familiar. You're like, well, I could go back to that and not worry about what I have in front of me. And that's
Right?
where we get stuck.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unpack that suitcase, right? Like, don't bring that
Unpack it.
suitcase
Yeah,
back.
you need some lightweight to carry with you, right? Or no
That
weight
ticket
at all.
expired, the airfare, that plane is gone. But it's true, and that's where I think having a spiritual base of whether it's daily affirmations, prayer, writing. I have this beautiful client, she sends these daily texts that are affirmations, and they're just fabulous. It takes you about a minute to read it and process it, and it's like, "Yes,
I love that.
that's it." And then another tip I have for especially creative entrepreneurs, have you heard of The Artist's Way?
Yes, I have.
That
Yes,
this book has been around for forever
yes,
and ever, right?
yes.
That is such a powerful body of work. Every time I've had a major life shift, except for recently, I haven't done it, I have started that 12-week program again. And it's, as you know, self-guided, and it is powerful to help get you back on track
Oh,
and to become unstuck and remove those voices that try to creep into your hair, your head.
that's a scary place too because it's so familiar to you. Sometimes we still get stuck somewhere, but we can talk ourselves out of it. Once you know who you are and where you want to go, you can snap out of it. It
Yes.
might creep up on you and you're like, okay, we know who you are. Go away. Go away. It has happened to me a few times. I'm like, okay, I understand this. You're not going to make me depressed today. That is not going to work. Let's go.
Right.
Because with grief, there's 5 stages to that, and we have to own it, to go through it. A lot of people say, "I need to get over it." No, I need to go through it and sit with it, and it has to live with me too, because when I allow it to live with me, I can blossom from it. I can learn from it. I can understand that I didn't wanna accept it. I can understand the loss that's not the physicality that's not gonna be beside me anymore. I can sit back and say, wow, all these memories I have, the love, the laughter, the time we had, and I'll see you, one day. And
Right.
and that's how I look at it, that depression and acceptance and denial, and then the negotiating part. So those stages take time, like everything else. Nothing happens overnight. But
No.
when it does happen, it can happen in one night. And
Yes.
before you know it, you're laughing and thinking about all those beautiful memories and that spirit of that loss is stronger than it was here when it was physical
It transforms into a new energy
thing.
you can embrace and take with you. And grief is something, there are 5 stages, but there's so much more to it that I am worrying. It comes, as you know, like a thief in the night sometimes, like, oh, okay,
Mhm.
out of the blue. And sometimes you embrace it and work with that moment, work through it, and then it leaves. But no one should ever tell anyone who has gone through a significant loss that there's a timetable or
Never,
there's something they need to do.
ever.
I am surprised at what people are comfortable with saying, and there's a lot of lessons to be learned
That's
and
when
taught within
boundaries come.
boundaries come, and that's where
When the boundaries come in place, you're just
that
like, "Okay, okay,
yes.
you can't be too close to this line."
No, yes, and guess what? You just crossed the line. So that's a different conversation.
Yes,
But with
absolutely.
that, with grief, you can become empowered. But I've been looking at and researching more information about what it does to your mind. And
Yvette, you have to look at it as it's an evolution of life. We're all gonna go through the loss. We're not gonna be here one day,
sure,
but there will be someone grieving for us, hopefully. But, it's evolution. It's a full circle of life, and if you had a long life, that's a beautiful thing. That
it is.
means you have gone through a journey that a lot of people don't get to go through. You count yourself lucky. My mom is 87 years old, and I'm like, "Doll, I just need you." And selfishly, I just need you to be here 10 more years. And then I'm thinking, well, in 10 more years, what's going to happen? Same thing. So I had to come to a point in my mind that, Jane, this is evolution as far as evolution is concerned.
Yes.
And irrespective, what's the inevitable, and that's the inevitable for everyone, not just you. So
Right?
you can't be but so selfish about this, even though you will be, and you have no idea what's going to take place when that does come. To keep an open mind with it, it's painful even to think about things like that. But
It is, but it's our reality. And
yeah,
we
it
won't
is. Yeah,
know how to respond or how we will respond or what happens until that moment comes. And
right.
then we will deal with it at that moment.
And I think it's like with a lot of things, that's the unknown, that's the uncertain. And in a way, that's what makes life so beautiful too.
There's so much that can come out of
Mm,
any situation
I love it.
that can be positive. Any situation I look at through the lens of what can I learn from the situation? What can I learn from this person? How can I come out a better person, a more educated person, more evolved person? Just what is the lesson that I can embrace and move into the next stages of life with? I think that's the beauty of it, or at least for me. That's the choice I make.
No, I'm riding with you on that one. Trust me. What's next for me? And with
Right.
that question, what's the next version of Yvette Craddock?
Well, I've become a traveling designer.
You said there is
Yes.
a version of you waiting, a little
Yes.
elder, a little greater risk taker. What does
Yes.
this woman want
To be
when it comes to
bolder.
a responsible woman who has been hesitant to give her?
I definitely want to be even bolder than I have in the past. My parents were really refined people. So there are things you say in the house. There are things you never say. And there are things and so sometimes I just want to say, you know what? That is ugly. That is just not happening. And let's talk about why and how we can make it better. Things that I may not say before, I might say now. I
I
definitely want
love it. That is
know,
funny.
it's something as simple as that, and it sounds so
Yeah, yeah.
silly, but I see if I am on social media sometimes and I see a post and I'm like, "Oh, they nailed it. It's true. It just is what it is." And everybody's just like, "Don't say that out loud." And it's like, she said the quiet part out loud,
Yeah.
but it's not, that's not the cusp, but just to be more bold and to have even more courage and to really, really, really start discussing more about what I know and how I can contribute to the world. So one thing that I've always had is this instinct of trends and what's coming next. It could be colors, styles, or whatever. And I'm kind of silent about that. No, I'm speaking up a little bit more loudly, boldly, and continue with clarity. And to
Absolutely.
create spaces I've never created before. I love those challenges. I love the creative intellectual challenge. So I'm working on attracting and manifesting more of those that are meaningful, whether it's a private residence or a boutique property. I definitely want to do a boutique hotel. That's what I'm on a mission for. And to
Love
spend more time traveling the world.
love it. That's the Yvette I wanna encounter, the wild woman.
She's
That's the
been,
Yvette
been
I wanna
all
encounter.
night with me dancing in New York, dancing on bars. Girl, yes,
Those
she's
days,
coming
listen, they're
back.
not too far away. I love those days too.
But no, it's no fun. I can't go dance on the bar like I used to. It's like, what is wrong with you? It's just so stiff and boring. Let's go.
Let's go, right? Enjoy yourself. Oh, I find
Let me show
myself
you how to
dancing.
get it done.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just don't play by everybody's rules. I just march to the beat of my own drum, and I will continue to do so, whether people understand it or not, or they're 3 years behind. Just keep moving forward. Just
I
keep
love it.
doing it.
I love that you're creating because it excites you and it validates you now. I love that. And at this stage in your life, why not? Why the hell not? I mean, why would you do something boring? Why would you not speak up if something doesn't look right? I mean, of course you wouldn't be rude about it, but it's
Right.
ugly. Guys, why
Right.
would you even want it?
Why
You
are
know,
you copying the same thing? You have it. You have it. No, come on. We're all unique people. And I think that's the thing. We're all unique people. Let your voice be known
heard.
and known and heard, even for
Yes.
yourself.
Be
Just
loud
for
about it.
yourself.
I say you only get one life to live. Be
Right.
wild, be loud, be respectful, but
Right.
enjoy it. I mean, you only get this one life. Why not do what you want to do? Why not say what you need to say? Why regret any of it? You get
Never.
one. I
You get
get the
one.
traveling around the world. I love traveling. I've always traveled,
Yes.
from my young life until now, and I still travel. I just enjoy meeting people. I enjoy hearing about what they're doing. I think it's exciting. I thought I could do anything I want to do. Nothing ever stopped me from changing, and that's why, I created this framework, the identity method, because guess what? No one could ever tell me if you can do it, I know I can do it. I
That's
know I
right.
can. And I love that, and I understand, when I decided to unpack my life, I had to take an audit of my own identity to find out why was these things happening to me? What did I inherit? From other people to take with me that I didn't choose? And how can I peel these layers off of me? And then I had to sit back and go, what? Oh my God, the equity that I put into that, because of course the return on your investment, you're like, I invested a lot of time and energy into all of that. And what did I get? Nothing. So
You're
here
right.
I am sitting trying to figure this shit out now. Right.
Yeah. I'm
And
not doing
and
that.
you have to go through the whole thing. People ask me, "Well, what does foreclosing on an identity mean?" It's sitting in something that you had no business in because you were listening to all these different people tell you you should have done this, you should be this, this was what validates you, all this noise. And then you foreclosed on this identity and sat with it all this time and almost ruined your damn life. So that's what identity foreclosure is. And when we talk about unpacking, you have to take an audit of your life first. You have to go back and see where did it come from? Because when you walk through these doors, you're not walking alone. You're walking in with, 15, 20 people and your ancestors. And hopefully you act like you belong in that room
Amen.
because we
Amen.
go through so much doubt with acceptance, and I read somewhere someone said should come with a warning label because if you don't belong anywhere, that's why adopted kids, they go looking for their parents. They want to know where they came from.
Right.
They want to know who they belong to because you can get sick, fall out, faint. All kinds of shit can happen to you when you don't know where you belong or where you came from. That's a mystery to people that can't find that information out.
It is a mystery and one I'm
And
very
sometimes
grateful I
when you
don't
do
know.
find it out, you want to give it back.
Well, from
Let me get that shit back.
my perspective of my work, it's amazing. Right now I have a graphic header on my Facebook business page, rescuing your space from the sea of sameness. And I mean it. People
No,
have called me and they've asked me can you duplicate that? And I said, no, that's
no.
another boundary. Hard no. Thank you very much. This is what I do. And if this is not what you want to do, that's okay. I'm just not the right fit for you. But this is a story, and it's so telling of where we are in society. It makes me sad. One day I was in a home and it happened to be an open house. And this woman came in with her son and she was looking around. I'm not great with age, maybe 40s, 50s, somewhere in that range. And she says, "What is the color on this wall?" Now, I was a guest visiting the broker who was
Beige. No,
saying, no, girl, it was worse. It was like a gray, and not in a hard, cool gray, like clinical. Does anybody want to live in do you want to go live in a prison? It's like, let's all paint our homes looking like prisons. I don't understand. And
Mm.
anyway, the point was this. I don't really like that color, but my neighbor said that I should paint my house this color. And my eyes almost bugged out of my head. And I just said, "That's
God.
interesting." I said, "So what colors do you like?" And she couldn't say. I said,
Wow.
let me ask you to accept this invitation. Listen to you.
Yeah.
Find the colors that you like, because you know what? It's your house and you are paying the mortgage and your family lives there and you walk through that door every day. So
And you have to sit in it.
if your own residence doesn't heal you, love you, embrace you, if you don't feel comfortable in your own home, you're not comfortable in your own skin. And you take that energy everywhere you go.
Absolutely. You know what? I used to think I was a minimalist, and I don't know why. Maybe when I was younger, I thought that was such a cool word. I'm a minimalist. I don't like things moved out of place and shit. I am such a maximalist now. I love artwork. I want to see the places I have traveled. And why did I bring these things back? Because I want to live in them. I love them. Something about a picture. The picture could be $10. But I feel like if it speaks to me, it's going up on my wall, you
It's
know?
part of your life story.
It's a part
It's
of my
your life
journey.
story.
Yeah, it's part of my journey. I was an interior designer. There are rooms you can't sit in. I went, "What the hell is that? You can't sit in this room? Are you kidding me?" Because it always has to look like this.
That's not living.
Do you remember when we were kids and your parents, I don't know about you, my parents, they used to have plastic slip cover.
So
And when it was
the
hot, we
older
would put on it.
generation did. Yeah, I read the plastic. Like, now those things are pristine, mentioned very modern. People want them.
It's so
Yeah.
funny. My mom, sometimes I have one of my sisters when she comes to my mom's house and she's like, you can't use that, mommy. I'm like, are you out of your mind? Wouldn't you think she bought it to just look at it? I said, give me that throw. I'm freezing over here. It's so crazy how people think. And my mom always says to me, I didn't buy these things to look at them. I bought them to use them. And I'm like, amen, mom. I get it.
But, that's another thing is trends and marching to the beat of everyone else's drum
Yes.
and then doing what everybody else. It goes back to, well, this is happening and this is the barometer and da. There's too much of that. And it's like, did you pull the truck up, or did the truck from the furniture store just put what's on the showroom floor, put in the truck and then deliver it to you?
100%.
Who lives here?
100%.
Do you live here, or am I back at the showroom?
I remember 10, 12 years ago when all of a sudden everybody wanted stainless steel and everybody wanted white cabinets. I remember a client calling me saying, and this is in real estate, Jane, I want you to show me XYZ, this price, but I don't want any brown cabinets. And I thought, well, everybody had brown cabinets. Well, I want white cabinets. Okay, so they're real wood. My interior design had, we could, strip them down and paint them so you don't have to, redo the whole thing. But all of a sudden, every brand new house you walked into was gray with white cabinets, white floors. Everything was so sterile. I went, who lives here? Why is everything gray and white? The paint, every paint color. People that are well-to-do, they like the same things. You go in their homes, you see the same chandeliers, you see the same furniture. There's no dimension to anything. It's just so weird. It's like sheep.
It's
Who's the goat? Who's the goat, for God's sake? What the hell happened here? Why did everybody go white? So now stainless steel is going out. White is going out. People want color. People are realizing I need to live my life as who I am. Now
and that's why they need to call me, Jane.
I'm hoping this is the trend. I'm a girl of color. Physically too, I'm a girl of color.
Gold jewelry color.
Yes, I love color. I love, muted and jewel tones. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
At one point, everybody's house was gray, and gray. And then we went to beiging. What the hell was that? Beigicized. Just go and put beige everything. Beige couches, beige pillows, a popular here, but don't make it too much to people.
Well, you know what? It's an emotional numbing. And because I've been doing research about this and talked about this, that
Beiging?
beigification is emotional numbing, and people are so overwhelmed. They want to be numb, apparently, where the power of color physiologically, as you know, and psychologically can take you out of that. And if the world's falling apart, you can have color that will help define your mood. Like, look at my chair. It's this
Unpack your damn life.
fabulous raspberry.
That's what I say. Unpack your life. Okay.
Right. And to tune into what you want, which is what I do and
Absolutely.
help people. And it's scary. It's really interesting how it's scary.
Yeah.
People might like observing color, but they're scared to have it in their surroundings on a daily basis. It's like a huge commitment. But if we don't commit to ourselves, then who and what are we committing to?
Absolutely. Self is so wonderful because, why hide? Why hide who you are? The world is waiting to find out who you are. We need to know so we can enjoy you and embrace you. When I was into entertainment, I would have clients. I remember one client having a complete breakdown before we got on the elevator. And on the elevator, the whole breathing and just going through it.
Mhm.
Baby, when she got off that elevator and hit that stage, you'd have thought, who's this person? I was like, oh my God, the transformation was so quick and so like nothing ever happened. And I thought, how can you go from that to that? From this to this. I was like, okay, then there is the messy middle because you got to come through it. And you can't go all the way here after being here and all of a sudden become this other person. And when you do, oh my God, that's like amazing to me. When you see people of that caliber go through that.
It
And
is. Well, they're human too. We're all on this human journey and at different
absolutely.
stages in it and different levels of growth and desire for growth. Some people just don't desire to grow. Others do.
Mm.
Like we talked about, some people are willing to sit and go and crawl and cry through the messy middle. And some people are like, oh, hard stop. Let me turn around and go back. I get it. Maybe it's not their time. They're not ready.
Yeah, no, you're right. You have to let the energy flow. And when the energy hits you, it will move through you. And that energy is very powerful. It's like money. Money is energy.
Money
And
is
it gives you
energy.
options. And it's fluid. And you have to keep letting it flow. It doesn't stay in one place.
No.
If it does become stagnant, trust me, your hands start getting itchy.
When you're green, you grow. When you're ripe, you rot.
Yes, absolutely.
Keep it moving.
I always say, listen, the first year it sleeps, the second year it creeps, the third year, baby, it leaps. Be ready for it.
I heard that. I love that.
Be ready for it, baby, because it's coming.
It's coming.
It's the quiet times that I have looked forward to and have been through. I had to go all the way in and now it's leaping. And I love it. I love it because you have to go in. You have to just go deep. And that quiet time will really teach you about yourself,
It's only that quiet time. That
Yeah.
quiet time is absolutely vital to have
And we all have
metamorphosis.
through different identities in our lives. We're just trying to figure out who the hell we are at the end of the day and at the end of it, the life too. Who the hell are we? You go through your whole life not knowing who you are. That's so sad.
It is sad. I hope more people, and I know that people who are listening to your podcast and even guests like me, it's just like, just have the courage to go there and have fun and go through that journey and be bold and make choices that
Absolutely.
you're defining life on your terms and not what everyone else says or thinks
I agree
or
with you.
expects for you to do.
And I like to say to my audience, if you take anything away from this today, you should definitely stop and unpack your life. You are not stuck. Unpack frequently and do not burn the damn house down all at once.
During the process.
Enjoy the process.
Yes.
Yvette, is there anything else you would like to say to the audience before we wrap this up?
Just be you. Have the courage to be you. Find your drum, beat it, do your thing. Be comfortable being on your own island because sometimes that's what it takes. But you know what? People wish they had the courage to be on their own island. And then at one point, one day, people will understand you. Process.
Yes, being on your own island helps you realize that, life is short, life is sweet, and you know what? Just enjoy it and keep moving through it. At the end of the day, it's yours.
Yeah.
Be wild. Do what Yvette says she's going to do. She's going to be
Yes.
bold and wild. And that's the one.
Dance, honey, come dance with me. Let's do this.
I'm dancing with you. Wait. Where do you want to dance is the question.
New York. We'll talk about the places.
Okay.
Mexico. There's some places in Mexico.
Portugal.
To find new places to go. I just
True.
love it. Just embrace everything about you. Have the courage to find out new elements of who you are and just really expand on your identity and know that some days won't be
Love
perfect,
it.
but it's
Love
going to
it.
be okay. It's going to be
Love
okay.
Love it. And it has to be okay because guess what? You're either going to live this life or not. You're going to live it by design or live it by default. And if you're going to live it by default, you might as well just pack it in already.
Yeah. People have been lost. So let's be there, lift each other up, trust yourself, trust the right people around you. Thank you, Jane.
Tell people, where can they find you?
YvetteCraddock.com. And from there, they can find me on my social media sites. I love LinkedIn. I'm on every site. I'll be doing more on YouTube, but LinkedIn is a really great, fun way. And of
Absolutely.
course, Instagram, the IG. I get the IG.
On the gram. You can find me on
On
the
the
gram.
gram.
Well, guys, it has been such a pleasure talking to my good friend Yvette Craddock. Make sure you hit Yvette up. She will pretty much give you some design tips. Great ones. And I want you to subscribe if you love this show, Unpack Your Life. You know where to find us on YouTube. You know where to find me at Jane Bond on Instagram, ____. And you can find us on any of your podcast platforms. We'd love for you to subscribe and leave a review. Till next time, unpack your life.